In this forum, we are going to be talking about Syria during the 20th century and how it became to be one of the most conflicted zones it is today. The Cold War had really a big effect in this region. Also, religion is one of the main reasons this country has so many problems today. This topic will be important for our presentation today since it has become one of the main conflicts in the world, the things that are happening in Syria. We will also be having two experts in this presentation, Isaías Quintero and Arriaga Salinas. We will also talk about the effects in the present and also we'll be talking about how it became the problems that are happening today.
To begin with, the way that French people tried to control completely was wrong and started to make people unhappy. Then, with the support of Russia, they were used as the proxy for almost all the battles with their near country in the Middle East conflicts. This happened because of the Cold War, and they were used to prove that Russia was better than the US, the same way that Israel was used by the United States. All this led to all the conflicts between these two countries that are still happening today. All this led to the problems in the actuality.
First question. I would like to ask all the experts that are here with us today in this module if they could give us a general view and opinion of all the conflicts in Syria that happened in the 20th century.
Well, to begin with, the conflicts in Syria during the specific period of the time started with the end of with the Ottoman Empire ruling inside Syria. This happened in 1918, a revolution led by Emir Faisal and supported by the British and this Ottoman Empire. Emir Faisal was from Iraq. He became the king of Syria. This was the beginning of everything. But what started causing the trouble was when the French took control over Syria and divided the three autonomous regions and separated Lebanon completely. This led to an uprising from citizens since they were not happy. But French people decided to stop this by force and bombard Damascus in 1925. Starting in 1928, the Syrians started to battle for their liberty, starting with proposals for a constitution, but they were completely rejected. The problem became more than what the French could handle, so they promised that the independence for Syria and elected the first president of Syria in 1943. He was called Shurki al-Kuwatli. The French still controlled the economy and had military in Syria. Since this was the beginning of the government, there were multiple coups. But later, Shukri wanted to get better ties with Egypt. In 1958, they formed the United Arab Republic. They raised all political parties in Syria and formed the Ba'ath Party for union of the countries. Then in 1961, the people of Syria was unhappy, so they disassembled the union.
Salah Hadid leads an international coup in order to take the Ba'athist government. In 1967, the Six-Day War happened. This war was between Israel and the Union that was being disassembled. Almost all of the Syrian Air Force was destroyed and they were struggling economically. Because of this, a lot of countries between Israel, Syria and Egypt started to happen in order to regain the Golan Heights. In 1973, another conflict between these countries started. And in 1975, the President Assad says he's ready to peace with Israel. This president accomplished stability, but through repression. In 1976, Syria helped Lebanon and its revolution.
Number 3. What consequences does all these conflicts end up having?
To begin with, the way how the US put economic sanctions in Syria, or how it sends military troops to render Syria are some of the consequences. But also how they are all having battles with other Middle East countries because of the remains of wars from the Cold War conflict. The conflicts will continue, and right now, the country supporting Syria is Russia. The proof that is will continue, and an example is the missile strikes ended by Donald Trump in 2017.
We can conclude about all this presentation that Syria had many problems in the past that were involved with the United States and Russia. All this caused all the problems that are happening today. For example, the battles with Israel that were supported by US and the other side, Syria, was supported by Russia, could be one of the most important reasons about the problems that are happening today. For example, also the still continuous battles between Israel and Syria. All these problems were involved with the Cold War since all began with that problems, since United States supported these countries a long time ago and the same happened with Russia. So in conclusion, all this takes back into the Cold War and the World War II.